I don't know what is wrong with this lady. Does she think that she's the most beautiful woman on earth? Or is it because she's had chocolate color? In my own assessment, she's not among the beautiful women in Nigeria. And it is high time we come hard on her. And why people like us are speaking on top of our voice is not just to protect and defend the Senate president, but to protect and defend her future victims. Even her present husband, she married her out of something like this. She threatened to sue the man and have a letter circulating over the world that the man should pay her 10 billion or marry her. The man had to marry her under duress. So the marriage was under duress, another product of blackmail.
This man keeps going low. What exactly does he mean by going hard on Senator NATASHA Akpabio? Despite trying to make light of it, his misogyny is very obvious. After the altercation with the former Minister of Education at the Senate ethics hearing, here we are on national television. He is discussing the personal affairs of a fellow senator. How did this man become a senator? What yardstick was used in selecting him as a senator? The more he talks, the more it tells a lot about him. Rather than Senator NATASHA Akpabio he wants to bring down. Also, it tells a lot about the caliber of APC representatives at the National Assembly. When people watch this man speak, they will say, how come a senator is talking this way? A senator that wants distinguished to be attached to his name. Can you imagine? It's time for other senators to call him to order. Yes, he needs to stop talking. The last few days he's been granting interviews on national TV stations. He's been from one foolery to another. After the altercation he had with the former Minister of Education at the ethics hearing in the Senate, one would have expected that he would have deeply reflected on his actions and advised himself, hey, I shouldn't have insulted someone that is old enough to be my mother on national television. I shouldn't have done many things. In fact, I have brought the name of the Senate to the mud. He should have done all this despite being very young. One would have expected that this guy would have brought something different. His youth should make a difference, unlike elderly men who have made the Senate or the National Assembly as a retirement home. Now, talking about age, this brings us to the Constitutional Amendment Bill introduced in the Green Chamber by Honorable Ugochinyere. It just passed second reading, and after the third reading, if it passes, it will now move to the Senate, and if it passes there, it will now have to be signed into law. If Tinubu refuses to sign it, it will return to the National Assembly after 30 days and they can decide to override his assent. Now, this bill aims to limit the age of contestants to the office of the governor, the office of president and many executive offices. They want to limit the age to 60 years. While many have argued that this constitutional amendment bill is aimed at stopping Tinubu from recontesting in 2027, not just him, all the political heavyweights from Atiku Abubakar, P2B, El-Rufai to Kwankwaso, many others, they are all above 60 years. The truth is, this bill is not really necessary. Age has never been a measure of intelligence. Likewise, the additional amendment that is added in the bill, the education limit is now first degree, that's if it eventually passes, rather than the school cert that is the limit at the moment. Even education is not a measure of intelligence. We've had many professors that were governors in the past. We all know how they performed in office, so age has never been and will never be a measure of intelligence. Just look at how Senator Nweboy has been talking on national television, how he's been bragging, I'm a senator, I'm this, that, openly misogynist. So the young ones are equally a problem. From old men to young men, the character is a problem. They should focus on the character. If someone has a good character and is equally competent, that's knowing what to do to solve all the numerous problems this country is facing, the law shouldn't limit such a person, because if they limit the age, that means a competent, well-behaved and intelligent person that is above 60 years will not be eligible to contest. So Nigerians will miss out on the brain power of that person to turn around their fortunes. Just like zoning of the presidency, if it is enshrined into the law, that will mean that Nigerians will miss out on many smart people in their prime who will not be eligible to contest because it is not the turn of their zone. So these kind of things are not actually necessary. However, zoning is important right now because of how power is concentrated on one part of the country. Yes, without zoning at this time, there wouldn't be equity and fairness. However, zoning will fizzle out in the near future once Nigeria starts to progress. This is because once people start progressing, they start becoming prosperous, they will stop caring about all these. Yes, what actually counts is how much money is going into the pocket of Nigerians. How much savings are they making? How wealthy have they become? Once you're earning a good living, life isn't too difficult, you wake up every day, go to work, come back in the evening without stress. At the end of the month, you're paid your salary and you spend about 20% of that salary to go for grocery shopping that will serve you for at least 1 month. You just don't care about all this. You live your life. You only need to save for a very short time to be able to afford a used car or a mortgage or to build your own home project. So these are things that foreigners enjoy in their home countries. Nigerians should be able to enjoy it. Nigerians used to enjoy them back in the day, but today, politicians have made life very difficult for Nigerians. What the proponents of these constitutional amendments at the National Assembly hope to achieve is good governance. But in reality, they are actually targeting symptoms of a broader issue. That bigger issue is our electoral process. If our electoral process is fine-tuned in order to be fraud-free and rig-free, it will always throw up the best of the best. Because Nigerians are smart people, they can recognize an intelligent, competent person. They can differentiate from all the thugs that are masquerading as patriots today in politics. So they should focus all their energy on fine-tuning the electoral process. They must make electronic collation of results mandatory. This is how election is conducted around the world. Why should that of Nigeria be different? If electronic collation of results becomes mandatory, all it takes is for polling officers to punch in the results after voting has closed. And within 1 hour, polls closed around the country. The results will be ready. It will automatically collate the results for senatorial districts, Federal House of Rep districts, states, all together. So election can never be transparent in Nigeria unless they employ electronic collation. It will reduce rigging to the barest minimum because where the rigging takes place are in the collation centers. Once polls close at the polling unit, election materials are moved to the collation center. They start at the ward collation center, from there to the local government collation center and to the state, and now at the federal if it is presidential election. So you can see it is in these rooms, in these halls that they collate the results, that they write whatever they want. They just overturn or give the votes of others to another candidate. At the end of the day, they will shout, go to court. So they have to cut off the collation center nonsense. This is where they steal votes. This is where they subvert the will of the people. This is where they commit coup against Nigerian people. If that is done, then there will be good governance going forward. Because the right candidate, the person that truly won the election transparently, will emerge. There will be nothing like rigging, writing results, doing this. Everything is electronic. Just finish casting your vote and the polling officer will punch it and the electronic collation will do the rest. This is exactly what Nigeria needs. They need to do this for the sake of humanity, for the sake of future generation. And the best part of electronic collation is that it saves money. Imagine the billions of naira they budget for logistics to move electoral materials around from polling centers or distribution centers to polling units. After votes close, they will move it to collation centers from ward, local government, state, all the logistics involved. They wouldn't need to do all that if electronic collation comes into force. All they need to do is to punch in the results like already said, and the application will do the rest. Also, the reason the Senate wants to pass the law to force INEC to hold all elections on one day is to save money. So you can see they are killing two birds with one stone. All that they want to achieve by amending the law can be achieved by just making electronic collation mandatory. Thanks for watching.